welcome to the first open session in quarantine times. First, I'd like to say that we are very happy that we were able to move from our offices to our homes so quickly, and that we are able to continue working and continue adding value and delivering solutions to our clients. Although some of us have gotten used to working at home, and some of us are even happier, I am really looking forward to see you all face to face. We are now in our new office of Unicorn University. It's beautiful. I really hope that we will all see you here very soon. When we introduced organizational structure Unicorn 2020 Plus, you could notice that one of the points of it was focus on cooperation. That we wanted to have better cooperation, that we wanted to have new ways of cooperation, because we wanted that you know the work of your colleagues, and not only that you know the work, but that you use the work of your colleagues. That's why we focus on products, on the usage of products, and this is the way how we want to be even more successful. Each of us is a co-worker of Unicorn, and our common goal of each of us is that Unicorn prospers, is socially beneficial, and it adds value. And we want to be satisfied and motivated. But each of us is member of some subunit, and these subunits can have different purposes, slightly different sub-goals, and we'd like to speak about how they cooperate. And today we are here, software factory executives. Today I will speak and Miloš Dvořák will speak. So we want to focus on cooperation between software factory and product hub teams and executive unit teams from Unicorn Systems. We have a very important interface between software factory and this product hub and executive unit teams. This interface is so important that it is one of the reasons why software factory is here. In theory, this interface says that you should come with a very precise assignment if you want some software development from software factory, and as a result, software factory gives you well defined output. We can do commands, we can do components, we can do applications, scripts, and the quality of it is measured in the software factory and outside of the software factory by certification authority, by evangelists. This is the theory. The practice is not that strict, because we will not refuse the work if it is not precisely assigned. We will help you to prepare the assignment. And but the interface should ensure that the assignment exists, that we will not develop without proper analysis. And there are two important attributes of this interface. First is what I mentioned, that we won't start developing without the assignment, and because the developing is the place where we spend the most, where our money goes away if we throw the work out. This is the place where we spend most. We try to avoid mistakes by thinking before developing. So this is very important first attribute of this interface. Second attribute is that it is an escalation point. and I try to explain why it is a good attribute. If you have two separate units, software factory and, for example, product hub team, they care about their work. One cares about proper assignment. Second cares about producing the thing, producing the software. And if there is some unhappiness about what the other side should do, we come to an escalation. We take measures. We speak with our superiors that it is not good, that the result is not good. And with this, we find the problems earlier. We find out that the project is not in a good shape very early, and this escalation helps the process. Sorry. And that's why we try to use this interface as often as possible. Miloš will today speak about the sprint lifecycle, and if we use this interface at the beginning of the sprint and at the end of the sprint, so approximately once in 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, we can have these fruits of this interface often, and we will be more successful. So, what is ahead of us? We will speak about team setup. We will speak what are the software factory roles, what are the activities that need to be done in software factory teams. We will show you the tools that we use, and how we use the tools and who uses the tools. And we will speak about the sprint lifecycle. And we know that there are many good setups of the teams. We know that it depends on which people you have on the project. You can allow to have weaker people on one side when you have stronger people on the second side. So there are many good setups of the team. So today we will not show you all the good setups. We will focus on one example. We will focus on example of development of application use Sprintman. So today we will try to explain what these people do, what are their roles in the project, and how the application, the use Sprintman, is being developed with these people. So, project roles of software factory. When we start a project, there is some setup of a phase. Miloš will speak about it. And we come to the project. We come that there is a project in software factory. And we have to fill in the names. We need to find who is a proper name for the roles. And usually you know that there are developers and designers in software factory, and we try to assign certain activities to these roles, and we defined a few more roles to specify better what are the responsibilities of each member. So if we start with developer, developer is a developer, so he develops the code, he creates the unit tests, and he fixes the bugs. He is responsible for his feature branch in Git. He is responsible for regular merges from Sprint branch, and he needs to report the work he has done with proper tools. Designer, he prepares the design. He has to clarify what is needed from the other side. He needs to write the design. And the tester, UP tester, is a role that tests the features. because when we develop the things inside implementation team, it has to be tested inside a team. And you know, when a developer tests his code, it usually goes untested because he is very kind to himself. So we try to assure that there is a tester that is not the developer inside the team, so there is cross-check with functional testing. There are two roles that are maybe new for you, but we try to define them as follows. There is UUP senior developer. Senior developer is someone who is responsible for code review. He is responsible for technical quality of outputs of that project team. He helps with tickets estimations, and he manages this Git sprint branch. He makes sure that the code in the sprint branch is up to date. So he merges from master. He merges the feature branches to the sprint. He prepares the up boxes, the outputs of our work, the UUP boxes. And the same goes with designer. He's responsible for quality of designs of the team. He helps with estimations, he gives technical support. And these two roles combined are helping the team leader to be successful in the product with dealing with technical quality. And then we have team leader. The main goal of team leader is making sure that everything happens like it should. He communicates with the other side, with the executive team and product hub team. He's preparing the team capacity. He's making sure that he knows what capacity he has for the next sprint, because he's making the sprint deals. He says what can be done in next sprint, and he's making this teeny tiny contract with product hub and executive team for the sprint. He's reporting his work, but he's reporting to the superiors. So these are the 6 roles that we have in Software Factory, and usually 90% of the cases we don't have 6 people on the project. We ideally have 3 people. The projects are usually quite small, and that means that some people are casted to more roles, and it's okay. It's the way how we want it. With this separation of activities to these separate roles, we just want to make sure that we know who is responsible for the things. Sometimes even some roles are not casted. We could have easy case is that we have only design project, so we don't have developer and senior developer. But sometimes because of lack of right people, we could even have like senior developer uncasted or senior designer uncasted, and this is not a good way. This is not the way how we want it, but we want to know about that. So if we see that this role is not casted, we know what to do with the project. If we want to keep an eye on that, or if we just say about it to everyone who is interested, and we know the situation. So this is why we have these roles. And let's have a look on Sprintman again. We have on the side of the product management, we have Yuri Plachty as a product manager. We have Oksana Lobunec as business architect. Unfortunately, we don't have a technology architect in that team, but this activities from technology architect are usually substituted from family level of product hub from Miloš Vodrážka. And in our team, we have Káťa Štramerová. She is a team leader, she is a senior designer and a tester, one of two testers. We have Marek Filtež as a senior developer, and we have Josef Wegner as developer and Lukáš Žák as designer and tester. Usually the designer is the one that tests the things that he designs, because he is not the one that develops the thing. One more note, currently we are moving this project to Ukraine, so there are new people on the project, but this is the case of like before 2 or 3 weeks we were in this setup. So these are the project roles, the responsibilities. We want to more focus on that to see what the people do and which activities we don't have covered to see it better. And now a look on the tools. Which tools we have and which tools we use. The last open session, it was just before the quarantine. Miloš Vodrážka showed you the tools of UUP, process product hub. I will show it today again, but maybe slightly from different perspective. And these are the tools that we will use, we want to use, that we develop, and this will bring success to our projects. There are some alternatives now, but they will very quickly become not relevant, because these tools are much more better, and they support our processes in the best way. All of you that deal with some software project, all of you are caring about some business discipline. The point of us, the goal of Unicorn is to bring the business discipline from state where it isn't ideal to much better state. And how we do it is that we have an application supporting that business discipline, and application software information system supporting that business discipline. And we say in the theory of UUP that the methodology how to use the information system and information system itself is inseparable. They are very tightly connected together. To describe the methodology, you need 3 books in our UUP processes. You have a pink book, where you collect business requests, user stories, and non-functional requests. You have a blue book for business model. In business model, you have business use cases, business actors, products, processes, things like that. In up model, you have, it is stored in the purple book. This is a new color. It's purple. I cannot even say what is the Czech alternative for that. You have there up model. Up model is precise documentation, design of things that are written in the source code. So commands, schemas, DAO methods, scripts, components, things like that. These 3 books are the documentation of the application, and we support them with the tools. We have one line of tool, which is business request man for pink book, model kit for blue book, and up model kit, up business model kit for Blue Book, and up model kit for Purple Book. And there is a code base. The application needs upgrade to support our new business territory, but this application allows us to access Git repositories with from organizational structure rights. This line of application creates the business, creates the things that we want to give our customers, the user stories, the business use cases, the commands. This is the thing why we do it. There is the second line, very important one, which are control applications. Those are the applications that follow the processes needed to do the business and support these processes. So we have FLS. This is the application that collects requests from many unqualified users and helps filtering them to create requests to SLS, second line support. Second line support is very similar, but it's for not that many and more qualified users sending their requests. Sprintman helps us develop the application, implement the application in sprint cycles, and we will have a look on it in a few minutes. And there is one last testman which needs again upgrade, and it helps us manage tests in acceptance. So let's have a look on again on our example of Vue Sprintman. It's not an ideal example because we will speak about Sprintman in the development of Vue Sprintman, but since they are using the application the longest time, it was the best example that we could show. So I hope it won't be too confusing. So I am now. I just need to switch the screen, maybe. I'm not sure what you see. Here, I'm now in business territory of Unicore Solutions, so of our product hub, and this is product unit of Vue Sprintman. Here happens the development. In Software Factory, in our business territory, we don't have any tools. We use the tools that are given us from Product Hub or Unicorn Systems. So all the outputs are stored in one place. So if we have more teams working on that, everything is stored in one unit in Product Hub or in Unicorn Systems. So we are in Product Hub. If we have a look on production set, we can see here that we have business requests. We can see some user stories. Here they are. We have here business model. So if we have a look on business use cases, there are even more business use cases than user stories. Here they all are. And what is missing here is from the theory that I have set is a model kit, and this is because it is in pilot mode and Vue Sprintman is not participating in pilot mode, so it's not here, but very soon we will have it here. So let's have a look on on sprints. This is folder sprint management. If we click on the first artifact that we see, we are now in Sprintman. This is backlog of Sprintman. If you can see here that there are 300 items in the backlog. Some of them are already solved, so not all of them are before us, but in front of us. But there are many things to improve in Sprintman. Most of them, or majority of them, are in this list. You can sort it however you like, and I will find a user story, which is this one. Oh, not a user story. I'm sorry. Backlog request. We are looking at backlog request, and I will not start from backlog request, but this is my shortcut to user story and to business use case. I will explain why. So we will start with user story. We are in pink book. This is pink color for those who cannot see that. This is user story, and I like to explain why we have it here. In the beginning, Sprintman had this feature that if you created a ticket, you will always, the next screen was always ticket detail. So when you were estimating backlog and trying to create a few tickets of a backlog, you always had to create, you went to detail, then go back to backlog request, then again create, and it was not very comfortable. So we have written this user story to explain why we need the change. In this case, it was Miloš Dvořák who has written this user story, and in this user story he just explained in what situation we need it, what is the scenario in which how we use the Sprintman, and why in that situation it's better to create more tickets at once, not only one. And he even proposed a solution. In this case, it was the easy solution. These are our graphical possibilities that we had. Screenshot and proposal to have one more button, which is create next. You not have only create, but you have create next as well. This is proposal of the solution, very easy in this case. He even draw a diagram of screen flow, that if you go from backlog request and hit create, you will go back to backlog request. If you go to from sprint, you will be on next will be sprint detail. I'm not sure if this was implemented, but it was proposal. We don't have to follow exactly the user story in this case, because it's just a proposal in chapter solution proposal. Why suddenly we have Miloš Dvořák as a project team member? He is not a team member. He is just a contributor of requests. As I said, we have SLS for these cases. We can send qualified requests for our application to explain why we need the changes. But he slightly used this power of top management member and used the business request mine directly. We have other top management members using their power, and for example, this user story is created by Vladimir, and he explains what changes are needed in sprint states, backlog states, ticket states. So there is a group of contributors to user stories. Mostly they are managed by product team, like directly Yuri and Oksana, their superiors, Miloš, Happy, David, but there are contributors that can directly create the user stories. So back to our user story of creating more tickets. What happened next? Miloš sent a task to Oksana that he prepared a user story that she should, let me switch to English, that she should revise and accept the requirement. She has done it. You can see it here, it was in February. And then she prepared, here is another task she prepared the business model. And that's the other link that I have here, somewhere here. Oksana had this task to prepare business or update business model according to this user story if the product team decides to implement this. They decided that yes, it is needed, it is a good feature, and she prepared this. We are in business use cases, this business use case. She described the flow of the use case. She thought about processes in which we have it, in which products we are dealing with in this business use case, which actors, etc., etc. She prepared the business model of this feature. We have linked the source of this business use case. This business use case is here because of this user story, so we created a link to that in related artifact. What next? We have business use case and or whole business model, but in this case it doesn't change much the business model, so it's only new business use case. And then it's Yuri's place. Yuri as a product manager, he has to say his wish that he wants to implement that. So he says these wishes by creating backlog requests. And this is not right. It's very easy in this case. You have here button create backlog request. You click on it, and you are in this model. Doesn't belong to book. It doesn't belong to business request man. It belongs to sprint man. So if you hit create backlog request on business use case, you see a model window from Sprintman, and from here you can create the backlog request. You can rename. You have some suggestion, but you can rename it. You can say a few more details and set the priority, and that's it. So this is how Yuri created the backlog request. Here we are. He set a priority, and the team, the implementation team, when the priority was right, so in that time it was the highest priority to implement this backlog request, they agreed with Yuri that yes, this is the time. Katka, as a team leader, she, with the help of senior designer and senior developer, she identified the tickets needed to implement this backlog request. In this case, again, it's what's not too difficult. We have 3 tickets, implementation ticket, testing ticket, and design ticket. You can even see here that the rows match, that implementation was done by developer Josef Wegner, testing and design was done by Lukaszak as a designer. And all of this was done in Sprint 6. It was not a difficult feature, so we agreed to have design checked very quickly, and then implementation happened. It was all done in one sprint. And we can have a look on the ticket, and in ticket detail or in ticket artifact, we can see the state history. We can see that after 3 days, Pepa said that it's done, and at the end of the sprint, Yuri closed the ticket. So this is a responsibility of members, as I said, that they should develop the things and then report their work, and this is the reporting. He set the state to done, and this is his reporting of work being done. So these are the tools that we use. We have a contributor group for business requests. They create new features, feature requests by defining user stories. We have business architect, Oksana, that cares about business model. She cares that everything is consistent, and this is her responsibility. Then Yuri, as a product manager, creates backlog requests, sets their priorities, and defines what should be done next. And the team prepares the tickets and does the tickets, like implements or designs or tests the things that should be tested to fulfill the backlog request. There is other way, not from user stories, but you can have a way from FLS that someone reports a bug, and then it is transferred to SLS because it's a bug. And there is another place where Yuri picks up his backlog request, and that's SLS. He creates the same way the backlog request from SLS to fix the bugs, to have the source in there. Because when I go back to where I started, to the backlog request, if you create it from that button I showed you, if you create the user stories, the backlog request from here, you have the link to the source here in these are the related artifacts of backlog request. So these are the tools and responsibilities, and I want to show you one more thing. You saw that there are many many artifacts in the unit. And natural step is to do statistics from that. So we have a sneak peek on statistics because they are not done, but we can have a look on that now. This is the first chart, pie chart, saying what is the ratio between states of the artifacts in the unit of sprint 1. It was exported on 31st of March, so this is a snapshot of that unit, and in the end of the March. This chart doesn't say us that much. If we have a look on numbers, the only interesting thing that it says is that there are big numbers. If we sum everything together, we have around 800 artifacts in that unit, or we had at the end of the March. But as I explained, there are different types of artifacts, different types of outputs. There are business outputs, in our case, business use cases, user stories, in future commands, and there are control artifacts like ticket, SLS requests, and so on. And we have organizational artifacts from business territory. So we don't want to have a look on the graph that says that mixes folder states and ticket states and user story states. So let's go on. This chart says how many business artifacts, how many control artifacts and organizational we have. You can see that majority of the artifacts is control artifact. As I said, there is missing a model kit, so I expect that it will be something like here, but still majority of artifacts will be control artifacts because they are short-lived. The ticket lives as long as one sprint lives one sprint, and then they are closed. The user story or the business use case or command lives as long as the command is used in the application. So we have many control artifacts and not that many business artifacts. And we have organizational artifacts like folders, rows, etc. So if we have a look on business artifacts, you can see that there are many active and some passive and alternative active. Not single closed artifact in business artifacts, and in control artifacts. In control we mean again tickets, backlog requests, sprints, SLS issues. We have almost 1/3 or almost half in this case in final states, and more than a half in active states, the artifacts that we have. As I said, this is a sneak peek to statistics. We are missing two important things that missing in these statistics. We miss the timeline. We will do these snapshots regularly, every day. It costs us nothing to create these statistics, and if you do it every day, you get very nice things, very nice trends, progresses, and you see what is happening in your unit. So you will have line charts, bar charts, and things like that to see what is your progress. The second thing that we are missing, and it is implemented in business territory in every artifact, so this is a very, very strong tool, is that every artifact has two attributes. One is weight of the artifact, and one is current progress of the artifact. And when you set the state, you can say, for example, that this backlog request weighs 120, like 120 man hours, and you can say that current progress is 20. And you can imagine that this tool becomes very important in our lives. It will automate our status assessments. It will tell you if your scope is changing, if you have still the same weight of the scope, if you sum every weight together of every backlog request, because when the budget is not changing, the scope should not change as well. It will tell you if the velocity of the team is okay, because you can see how many or what is the weight of tickets that you have done in every sprint. It can measure the progress of a whole project. You can see if in half time you are in half progress, things like that. So we are missing these two important dimensions of statistics. They already exist in business territory, but the applications are not using them yet. But they will very soon, and it will change our view on how we perceive the data from our tools, and our tools become even stronger, and we all will love the way what they are giving us. So I'm looking forward to statistics. So we'll get back to presentation, and I will pass my words to Milos, and he will speak about Lifecycle.
Hi everybody. I will continue with the part that is focused on regular release cycle. I would like to show you the life cycle of the phase, life cycle of the sprint, and the responsibility between the life cycle. So, why we are talking about the regular release cycle, about the time-oriented cycle? Because it saves time for us. It saves money. The project management is a very complex discipline. You see how many artifacts you need to manage for you sprintman. It's not a huge project. It's a middle one, but the amount of the artifacts, about the controls artifact is very high, and we need to manage these very precisely and very systematically. And the way how to do it is to have a really standard cycle, how to do it. Everybody in every time must know what is the task for the day, what is the goal of the day, what's happened next day. It must be very clear, because you avoid every misunderstanding. For example, if you have day where sprint is started, that's clear because everybody in the team knows that the sprint started with the kickoff. There will be new tickets for the team. There will be new decomposition of the tickets with estimation. That's very clear what's happened this day. And if it is the day of the demo meeting, everybody knows in the team that the demo meeting means that we have prepared version on some acceptance environment, and we are going to our client, to product hub or Unicor systems to show our result of our job. So, first about our approach. We project is clear, is something that we want to, some organization need. The goal of the project is to deliver some information system or new version of the information system. Phase is the time slot. The goal of the phase is to deliver some sub-applications, some new features, some new version of this information systems. We are typically talking about the 3 months phase, but it could be more time, it could be shorter. But the important is that the phase, in the phase you have the sprint. Sprint, it's really focuses on the result. We are using some concept from Scrum, and the basic concept that the end of the sprint you have the new version, the new features. And it's very important that the sprint is starting the same day and finishing the same day. Any possibility to postpone the time, any possibility to change the time slot. I try to using new techniques. And I write I must do it, sorry for this. It's perfect. So, but I use it. We are really not using iteration. That's the different concept. And we don't want to continue with this concept. Iteration was very good. Everybody that were in the unicorn for a long time knows that we are working in a phase and iteration, but the really different concept to our current approach. The differences are that in iteration, we are going to the iteration only with initial study. You prepare a technical project, engineering project, and then you continue with development of some version. It's great, but you are not able to manage every time the outputs of the team because it's a bundle of effort that you need to spend to achieve the version. This concept was very, very good if you have team in one place. But if you have team in the geographically separate teams, and you use the team for a lot of clients, for a lot of projects, it's concept that we are not able to continue with this because we are not able to manage according to iteration. So please, because we know the situation, we are talking now current situation in Unicorn. There are a lot of projects that if we are going to the project manager and talking about the sprints, almost everybody said, okay, that's not problem, we are sprinting. But in the fact, they are doing iteration. Not sprinting, but they are doing iteration. So yes, the project is divided into several phases or iteration, 4 weeks typically, but there is no way that before the let me say sprint is assignment to the team, the clear assignment, everything is done, business modeling is done, design is done, and the team just only develop. Because he is sprint, but in fact they are doing iteration. So, sprint. Sprint is elementary unit of development process. That's very easy, and everybody from us knows about this. So that's not the way how to. Why I can say you something new. But the technique in the sprint is, sorry, I have, huh? Sorry. So the technique in the sprint is very difficult. The OK marks means that this is the most important points that I see, and the most important technique that we can find how to do it. We can learn everybody how to do it. Sprint preparation, how to prepare sprint, what is the assignment enough to do the great sprint? What we need everything before the sprint. For example, if we are talking, if we don't thinking about the easy project, we are thinking about the data. Because if you are talking about, for example, energy project, and you give to do some team, for example, team from Brno, like integration team, executive unit team in Brno, push the job to the PSEC, and give, okay, prepare me this bulk operation with the data. We, the integration team or executive unit, must ensure that there is environment prepared with the right data, energy data. Because, and it is the almost part of the sprint preparation. That's not only about the book, but it's about preparation of the Git, environment, data, maybe some test cases, and everything what the team needs to deliver the great performance, to do the great performance. That's the sprint preparation, one technique. Sprint demo. You need to imagine that we have 2 sprint demos in 14 days life cycles. One is after first week, the second is in the end of the next week. But sprint demo is time that you have maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. It depends on the amount of the people, amount of the job. But you have small time to explain and to show everything. And on the other side, executive unit or product hub team must approve or must evaluate that everything is done. So it must be way how to do it in the details of new features, see the books, see the design, compare the design with the implementation. And in a short time, because we are talking about a really short time, 10 working days. Here we are talking about a 2-week sprints. Sprint acceptance, this one is the same, is the similar, because on Thursday morning, we have, for example, sprint 1 demo. That's this one. So on Thursday morning, we show new features and so on. And we want from, like Software Factory wants, from executive unit to accept the sprint, to approve, to test, to see every documentation on Friday. Next day, because on Monday, we are starting the new sprint. So only 1.5 day is for real test from the product hub or from the client. What does mean? It does mean that we need, with testing and with acceptance testing from here. After first demo, we need to have version on environment, on testing environment, and start testing, because there is no time to test everything. And the end, sprint closing. Transfer the money, say that the sprint, like a general, deliver this scope, and fair and very transparency say that the money for the sprint is this, and transfer from the application exchange to the software factory. That's sprint. Important but easy from the point of management, because we can everybody imagine how to manage the sprint. But if we are talking that you have, for example, 3 teams, and we have a project, for example, flow based and the biggest project, you can imagine that there is several teams, 3 development teams and 1 testing team, and together are working for development of some version. And this is the complexity of the project management. That if you want to have, sorry, if you want to have this version, you need to start with the business in the sprint 0. It's an example. In the sprint 0, you start with the business, with the user requirement, with the business model. Then next sprint you continue with the design, because you want to check that everything is clear. We answer every business questions. There you want to check that design is really good and it's according to standard. Maybe you can ask certificators, evangelists for the certification. So you prepare the design, and here you prepare the development. So you make the code, prepare the version, and parallel with this development, you need to ensure that the code is tested, so it's without any serious mistakes. And you can see that if I use the other colors, parallel, there is starting business for the next sprint, next version, design, development, test cycle, and version. And in this case, we are talking about the 1 delivery team and one testing team. I will continue now with phase cycle. I will introduce the phase cycle and continue with responsibility on the both sides, because Michal talked about the interface between the software factory and between the integration team like executive unit or product hub team. I don't want to go to the detail of organization of the both teams, because I'm not sure that I'm the right person that say who is responsible on the side of the executive team or product hub team, but I show the responsibility. We are now on the level of the phase, so we are thinking how to prepare and plan and manage how to prepare the new version of information systems. 3 months is before in front of us, and we need to commit or find a way what team we need for the implementation team, how many capacity, what is the structure, what is the goal, where is the money, and so on. So we need everything to be successful for 3 months. First, this is according to milestone. So we are not talking when it is happened, but we are talking that the milestone must be done to going to the other milestone. First, that the phase must be planned. That's very easy. Cost, risk, benefit, quality, scope, and time. That's clear. We have some user stories, backlog requests. We have prepared the goals for this phase. It's done by executive unit or product hub, but we need also the product breakdown structure and product flow. We need to understand what is the flow, especially if we are talking that we need more team in the software factory. Then we need the product must prepare some capacity plan, and I would like say to according the unicorn organization structure and division of labor, because there could be some part from product hub, there could be some big design, there could be software factory teams, and also the capacity on the side of executive unit or product hub. And if the phase is planned, there must be information for every unicorn unit that it's involved in this phase, because we need to start to thinking how to do it this phase. What next? I know now we are talking about the software factory. From our side, our typically operation manager and technical manager in our division must check or verify the preparation from product hub team or executive team. So must check that we have enough capacity, good structural capacity, trained capacity to prepare the team according to this plan. And we are talking about the verification of this plan, and it's very important because in this time, our managers and software factory as whole is going on the same board like our client. So because we verified and we see, we can imagine or we agree, approve that the phase is good prepared and we can continue and we will help you, and we can propose the right team for you. Solution proposed and phase contracted. Solution proposed. I will show you some examples. So this is the example not from Sprint Plan, but example from Lancet ETRN and Finkline project, that we started with some requests, so some requirements for capacity from the product hub. Product hub wants from us two teams, one for backend, Lancet, locality Prague, because there are only the locality where we have this type of the resources, and then front end Lancet team could be from the locality of Ostrava or any other. And we will go in the details, and we are talking, and there is some comments and there is some discussion, because we spent much time to find a good solution, and we are prepared the structure of the team on the side of the Prague, so the backend team, and then we are talking about the team in the Ostrava, and we prepare the team in the Ostrava. There is some newcomers because we're thinking that we need more capacity, so we are preparing some junior like newcomers, and trying to find and fit the requirements for the team. At the end, in this project, there will be new request, and the request was for Ukraine team, so the other front-end team, and we are solving the very similar way and establish the new team in Ukraine that is working for this project. And this is this milestone, that we have solution from the software factory side. We propose some solution, and could be variant solution, because we can say, okay, there is team in the Brno, there could be team in the Bratislava. There could be some constraint, there could be some advantage of both team, could be the different money for that. So we have some solution prepared for you. And if we find that the one of the solution is the right one, we can go to the application exchange, because we have demand, we have structure of the team, so we can imagine how to do it on the side of the software factory, and we can contract it, and we started the allocation of the capacity of according to contract in the application of exchange. And I can also show you what does mean allocation of the capacity. And we talk about the use sprint plan, so I can show you the sprint plan, and I will show you that in the use sprint plan we have some allocated capacity, 100 hours in the April, May. We can go into detail and discuss the week views or discuss the capacity in the week. So if we want, for example, some week more capacity, we can ensure that we have the request and we plan the capacity, more capacity according to project plan or phase plan. And so we make the reservation of the capacity, and the capacity is prepared for you and for this project. Because you can see that, for example, team A1 is working on this every project. Now there is two active, but in the history and in the future there could be a lot of other one that team A1 can work. So we have now we are in the situation that we have contract. So we can start. I will talk in the future about the sprint. So it's not possible now. I don't know go to the detail, but I would like to say that what I see on the project, because our team leaders are the part of your project. So it's very important that our team leaders knows about the milestone of the project and knows that what is the next version, where is the risk of the project, where is could be the change in the project, and so on. And you need to ensure that there is the schedule of every week there is some management level of the project, and the part of the management level must be our team leaders. And really, I see in the project that our team leaders are not involved in this, not informed about this, and doesn't have any details of let me say goals of the project, money of the project, and so on. And it's a really different situation, and it's a wrong situation, because before the software factory, that it's standard that every week there was one management, like project management meeting, and project manager inform everybody about the situation of the project. The next is internal steering committee or extended management board. We have good example. For example, today we have this type of the meeting with flow-based project, because we can discuss on the level of the management. So from our side is the division manager or operation manager and technical manager. From the side of Unicorn Systems, in this case, is the managers of executive units, and we discuss what we can make better in this particular project. Focus, but from the management level. And we discuss, for example, the quality, how many bugs we have on the project, if we can measure the team responsibility, so team statistic, how many bugs is done by team, how to achieve this statistic, how to achieve that the team leaders are more involved in the project, are so push for the team. So it's very for me very good meeting because we are finding the new things or new practice how to help to the project. And but we need to have time and we need to schedule this type of the meeting and find something that it's not connected with some particular sprint, but it's connected with the project as a whole and uh, how to make the cooperation better. After we executed every sprint, everything is done. Version is on the environment of the client, production environment of some UAT environment. We can finish the phase. There is no, let me say, important things like the transfer of money because, or thinking about the money because everything is done during the sprint. But still, there is time for make some retrospective and make some lesson learned for the other project because at the end you can find good message and you have time to write something and to explain something that can help the other project. So the phase, where we close the phase and we are going to the sprint. I use the same. I use 2 week sprint, but I will explain you what happened before the sprint and what happened after the sprint. The same concept, so the responsibility of the both sides and the same. We are talking about the deadline milestones that we need to achieve to go to the other milestones. So we can continue. First, there is the new milestone that we give to this picture because this picture is, I don't know, 1 year old, but it's still valid. But it's the new milestone that we give to this picture. The reason it's happened, and a lot of time happens that we don't inform our clients, like Software Factory doesn't inform our client about the vacation, for example, especially in the summer period or if something happens. We doesn't prepare the team on the other side that we have some capacity problem and we are not able to solve, or we don't start to solve this capacity problem because sometimes we can help if somebody has vacation, we can take somebody from the other team for 2 weeks to help this project. Could be not so efficient, but if we are using the same technology, so that's not so nonsense, like, because it really can help. But we don't tell in a lot of cases. We don't tell what is the capacity and if something happen. Now could be illnesses, and there could be also the discussion that in the next sprint we need more effort in the project because something happened. And it could be that, for example, the project is preparing the final version, and it's possible or it's clear that we need some overtime from our colleague. Could be some hotline during the rollout. Could be some special effort during the weekend, for example. And this is the time that we can consult and we need to solve. It's nonsense that in the Software Factory it's overtime is high or no, it's don't approve. We can talk, we can plan overtime. That's no problem because we know that the IT project is sometimes difficult And for example, the guys who are working on the MPO, include the guy from the Vladimir and the others from the top management, spend a lot of time to implement this information system for the short time. So we need to, before every sprint, we need to talk about our capacity that it is prepared for the next sprint. Why it's important the capacity? Because on the other side, the product hub or executive unit is preparing backlog requests. They are preparing the scope of of this sprint, and it's very it's not good that if we say okay, then we have this capacity, because there must be balance between the backlog request, between the prepared scope, and between the our capacity that we can propose to the team, to the project team. So first, if there is capacity, then executive unit or product hub can prepare the right backlog request, the right amount of the backlog request. And it's very important also to prioritize the backlog request. Not only to prepare, the describe, but really make the prioritization. Because can happen because the next step is that we are preparing proposal of the sprint, and it's very good to have the backlog request prioritization. But it's the same. It's the standard approach in Scrum and other techniques. So nothing new. And we need to have prepared the senior team staff capacity to prepare to start according this inputs, to start thinking about the tickets, prepare the tickets and so on. Because we are in it's important. We are here, so we have 2 days. It's the minimum, but it's 2 days before the starting of the sprint. So we are on Thursday and sprint started on Monday. So the next. Friday before, or Monday morning could be, but Friday before the starting of the sprint. Software factory is responsible for preparation of tickets. Preparation means that there is list of every ticket according to backlog request. There is some short description. There is some prioritization. There is also estimation of the tickets, and we propose the sprint scope. We are going to our client and say, okay, you have this backlog request for us, and we see the capacity, we see the estimation, the real estimation, that we believe this estimation, and we propose this sprint scope. And there is the discussion with our clients if the estimation is right, if we have everything in tickets, or if there is any open questions. But in the end, we have some scope of the sprint. We can so the sprint scope is approved by the product hub or executive unit, and we can check. We can start the sprint. Sprint started. What does mean? It's the first day. It's Monday. It could be Monday. The first day of the sprint. Our team leaders going to the team and said, okay, there is the sprint map. You can see the new tickets for you. I assign the tickets to the particular co-workers, so responsible people, and then we are continuing to deliver according to to the ticket, and managing by the daily stand-ups. From the side, on the side of the executive unit or Prague, there could be some consultation. That's the fact, because sometimes we are going, for example, in the design ticket, if we are going into detail, we can have some requests for consulting, consulting capacity from executive unit, but it must be the same systematically, because we need to save the time of the people in the executive unit or product hub, and we need, because the time is very important for preparation of the next sprint, for discussion with the end client in the case of executive team. So we need to save the time. For example, we can have some rule that in the morning, one hour we can spend, and we can ask questions. What we have ask questions, what we have, and the other window or consulting window, it could be in the evening. So it could be like this, and we have good practice from this rule. Good experience. So we are preparing, and there is two demos meeting. Very important. We need to go, and the responsible for the demo meetings on site of software factory. This is an important point. So we prepare the demo meeting. We need to ensure that we have the application of box on our environment. We need to present from some testing environment, not from development environment. It's nonsense. And we need to show every test cases and every main scenarios or alternate scenarios because we want to show everything what we have done. Here, product hub or some special testing team can start with testing, and the same like here. And there is the time for consulting some problems and open questions also. And on the side of executive unit and product hub is the technique that in a very short time, as I said, in very short time, 2 hours, must go into details and check that everything is okay, and it's not about a fairy tale, but it's about the real work from outside. Very help us the statistics, because we can show the teams, the statistics, we can go to the details of the tickets, we can see who is the responsible for the ticket. So in the future, we have working on some user stories in the sprint month to help to make this meeting very efficient. So the next one. We are in the end of the sprint. So the most important is that, and we are here. So we are on Friday, the second week, and it is very important that exit team can accept it and close. Close is together job, but typically done by us, could be, and we can close the sprint. We really say that the sprint is closed, and everything what we are not able to do it because could be there are several problems, must be transferred to the next sprint. And there is also time to discuss the next sprint plan and so on, because especially we are going in the same meetings. So it's we save the time. It doesn't mean that every milestone here must be some separate meeting or something like this. It's not Scrum. We don't want to have several meetings. We need to do this job to meet these deadlines. it's finished. It's the it's finished. It's everything is done because we are talking about IT implementation. Everything is done, commit, merge, and so on. But we can make after the sprint some financial settlement, for example, so send the money from application of big change. We can discuss some retrospective if we need, if we want, lesson some, find some new lesson learned. There could be, but the next sprint is starting. No time, no way to postpone. To say, okay, we need something more, we will finish like this. No, because you need, if you do it like this, one day for example, you need to manage everybody in the project. Okay, it's a Monday, but the sprint is not started because something happened and we need to kick off, postpone to the next day, and we must I don't know, cancel our our scope plan for the next sprint because and so on and so on. And there is a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of effort for management. No, that's the nonsense. If you have something it's not done, you have two options. One option is to transfer to the next sprint, the second could be the cancel, and the third is the parallel. You can escalate. You can escalate, and you need to escalate that we don't do it good job, and there is a real problem on the project. So we finish the sprint. We finish the sprint, and I would like now talking that I show you some approach, but we are talking about the unique requirements according to project. There could be a lot of requirements, for example, from end client side that we can incorporate into our approach. We need to think how to solve this requirement. Yes, we can cancel and say, okay, that's nonsense, we don't need this and we won't do this. And in a lot of situations we do like this because we would like to have stable approach, the same on the same client. But still there is a lot of place and that we can take account in the some unique project condition. For example, if how many environments we have. If on the side of the end client it's some special environment, or if we need some performance environment that we need to deliver every version, because in the this performance environment we are making every sprint the performance check or security check. If what we have on the both sides, what we have the structure of the team, because could happen that we have good developers in our team in the software factory, but the designers are better in the team of the executive unit. So we can say that okay, the design will be done by the executive unit, and we are focusing only on development. The other situation could be that in our team there are good business-oriented designer, and then he or she can help with, for example, this description of the user stories, with business modeling. There is a lot of situation in the projects, and we are preparing some way how to configure the project approach, but it's the similar. I will show you. It's the similar to task or discipline in the rational unified process that it's named tailoring of development process for the project. That's the special task and very huge discipline in a rational unified process. And you see that there are a lot of steps how to make the tailoring. But it's not way that how we want to do it in the unicorn. It's only the similar. I will explain the differences. Important message. We configure approach, not terror. We don't want to find new way how to do it. We don't want to say that in this project there will be some special situation that we do it in a really different way. For example, I don't know, we don't do it in the sprints, or we don't check the code, or we don't use some the application model or business model and so on. That is not place for tailoring. But the place is that if the sprint takes 1 week or 2 weeks, it could be maybe 3 weeks. How many environments we have? Requirement management. Who is responsible for requirement management? There are a lot of things that we need to thinking about this. And because it's not so easy, we are preparing the project setup checklist. So it's the way how to configure. Yes, and in project setup, if you can see, there is a lot of questions and a lot of sorry. And in a project setup checklist, there is a lot of things that we need to do, and it is the most critical point that we see like in practice in the project, and we need to choose, and we need to find the parameters for the configuration. I talk about the sprint length and the day where is the sprint starting. Sprint meetings are planned, so who is responsible, what time, what day. Sprint milestones are set, so where is the, because in some situation we can backlog request has prepared, for example, one week before the sprint. That's not necessary that you have 2 days before the sprint, because it's very stressful from the time point of view. So we can say, okay, if we will plan 1 week before the sprint is started, and this is the better situation that I showed, if we are able to do it like this, and so on and so on. Environment and so on. So if you see the real numbers of you sprintman, then you can see where is the first day of the sprint, so Monday, where is the acceptance and planning meeting, demo. Everything is done before the sprint. Every sprint is the same Monday, the same time, every week, every sprint. There is no way how to do it, but we can choose. We can say, oh, okay, we can start on Wednesday. That's not a problem, but we need to write down and approve on the board side. So it is we are going to the conclusion of this presentation, but I want to show you some preparation for the conclusion, and I will show you and this is still example of the sprintman. I will show you the way how to want to be transparency from the software factory. I want to have every information for our internal clients or for product or executive unit. And I know that a lot of teams are using this. So if you see, there is the portal of one team, is the A1 team, and there is the project that the team is in historical are working on this, and there is the use sprint man. And if we are going to the control panel of the use sprint man, you can see that there are a lot of information and use of information. The information that it's about the project and the project status is the information that is linked to our status assessment or division assessment. So this is the control panel for us, like for manager of the software factory, but also for you, like for client. And this is the information that if you think that the situation is wrong and it's not right, these icons, please push your team leaders on our side to make the other icon, because we can see in our status assessment that something happened. This is every sprint has statistics about what we are commit with before the sprint, or what is the approved scope, what scope we are really delivered, and how many time sheeting we are spent. So how many hours we spent. That's very important, because this is the problem that if this numbers is different, that's the problem that we are not delivering so many hours, so many jobs that you expect from outside. And this is the problem if there is the change between this and between this. That the problem is that we are not so effective if the numbers is high. But every numbers you see the numbers if we spend much more times or less times, you see the situation, because together we can make some action point if something happened, if something wrong. So you have see every statistic. There is the time sheeting for the, so the Yuri has approach to see everything from time sheeting. So months, April, and so on. And there is the finance situation on the project, and there is also the project of what's happened in every sprint and what is the conclusion of the sprint and so on. So this is the way how we manage this information now. In the future, the information will be from the sprint month. So we are working for some script that we are taking the information from the sprint month to pre-fill these numbers, and to be sure that the numbers it's really right and it's not only the fairy tale, some subjective fairy tale. So back to presentation. Conclusion. We are talking about the hard principles of, now we are talking about the hard principles of collaboration. What is the time, what is the money, what is the scope, and so on. But to be successful, we need to think about the soft parameters, also about the soft parameters of our cooperation. We need to still think that we are working in a geographical distributed teams. So you have team in Ukraine, you have team in Česká Třebová, for example, and now, unfortunately, but now the situation is going better and better, because everybody we are at home, so everybody are offline. So we need to solve this issue with some geographical distributed development. So we are in the Skype or other communication channel. So now we found better way how to collaborate. Continuous improvement. We are talking about some happy days scenarios, that everything is going right. Sprint has good assignment inputs, the delivery is very good with all the bugs and so on. But in the fact there are a lot of alternative ways how to do it. And we need to still improvement our approach how to solve this. We don't have now answer for everything. And every project came to us and give us new experience and new way how to solve it. For example, with Jirka Dudek, we are talking how to merge this sprint approach with Git features, feature branches. And because it will be nice that it will be clear that if we are starting the sprint, it means that we are continuing the feature branch or we are starting the new feature branch and so on. And the answer, it's not so easy as can imagine. Transparency, I will show every data. Michal show you the statistics. That's the transparency. No secret for everybody. Everything is prepared for manage of cooperation. Competition and specialization, yes, we want to have really know, and now we have know about everybody in the software factory. We have the statistic of the elements know-how. We have know everything what we can now, but still we are not we don't have the real objective number from production. We don't know how many bugs the particular teams done by each sprint, for example. How many scope can the team deliver in each sprint? We don't have now the statistics, so that's very good that we are really hard, or Vladimir and the teams are really hard working on the statistics. And fair environment. You must be fair because it's the success of the project or the sprint is the success for everybody in the project, not only for the sprint for the software factory team, but it must be for everybody. On the other side, if something should happen, the responsibility for the should happen is on everybody. So fair environment in the practice means that if you are closing the sprint and you can see that there is the best effort of our teams and there is some objective problems or objective some problems in the delivery, you don't cut, for example, every money or something like this. You need to think like in more like managers. But you need to have the data, and you can say, okay, I accept, I can pay, but in the future we need to have these action steps to avoid this problem, for example. So it's the fair environment, and it's very important to achieve in this cooperation approach. So everything from outside, and we can, if you have any question.
We have questions.
Yes, we have few questions.
Maybe I will take it to
Okay, question one. Is it planned to have real-time statistics? It's question for Michal, this question for Sprint now.
Yeah, the statistics. I will answer to maybe all the three questions. The first questions. We are working now hard on statistics from audit log, from the log of all the actions that you do in the system. Vladimir prepared beautiful algorithms how to deal with such a big data that we have there. We plan to have daily statistics from audit log, and the statistics about sprints taken from audit log will be handled later, because now we are focusing on how to get all this data to correct places, to have everything ready to be able to work with it like it is proper. And the statistics for sprints and sprint month that I showed you, we will work on it slightly later. The statistics from business territory, I expect that we'll start working on that in 2 weeks. And all the strategies and how what we will create from them depends on only on two things: what is the speed of the light, and what are the requests of our users. So things that you are mentioning are possible because we have these technologies, but it cannot be. We cannot exceed the speed of light in the cases that we have. So it was the answer for real-time statistics and two-dimensional statistics. We have the data, so the statistic is possible. And the first question, how do you manage the team without the statistics now? I think Milo showed you. For now, it is this control panel that we have, and we don't have any real-time data. We maintain this information, and we have the data about timesheets. That's usual timesheet reports that you know. And Sprintman is connected with timesheet, so we know how many hours we've been working on every ticket. So this is number 4. Number 5, Milos, in LSD.
LSD. To explain LSD is now for us workaround. We have yes, we are planning to have the capacity for everybody. But now this workaround, we are preparing the new concept because we want to combine the information, for example, from VTM to information about the vacation, information from for example, that somebody coming to the Top Gun courses. So we want to combine this information to have real capacity that are available for the project. And that is the more precise or more systematic way how to do it. Now we are doing this like this one because but it's still workaround. So yes, we will have, as you write, Michal, we will have the details on the level of the team members.
Thank you, Michal. You were very active. So thank you for all the questions. We have number 6 from Michal. For Milos, what is approach for maintenance and support projects? I don't know what approach Michal means, but just have a word about maintenance.
To explain, I was focusing only on the sprint approach. That's right. That's the good point. The maintenance and support project, we have a different approach, a little bit different approach, because it's not based on the sprint like this, because we are not able to plan every problem that it can happen on the project. But the description is it's really similar, and it's very nice to see that the way how we manage the people and the team and the job is similar to the standard of this type of the project. For example, because we have now 2 guys, Karel Schebel and Radek Srb, in our operation managers, and it's very compatible with this approach and with other teams. So it's not really different, but it's different how to plan the scope and how to make the report of the job and so on. That's it, still different. And but we have this concept the same or similar for maintenance and support. So that's everything.
And number 7, it's for timesheets. I already answered, but maybe to be more specific, we now have some version of timesheets in Sprintman, so you can see numbers of hours in Sprintman, and that's one way to look at it. We are starting next week a new generation of WTM to be to work with new business territory, so it will get even better. And what we have now, the timesheet reports that you know, the components from the current WTM, the components are on every control panel that Milo showed. So you should have access to this control panel of our team, and you should see the hours timesheeted there. And unfortunately, we are not able to prepare you some component that merges all the teams that you have in one project. But we can give you this, and there are exports in CSV, so you can merge it yourself. Because usually on project you don't have tens of teams, you have 2-3 teams, and it's not that big problem to merge it. So this is the way how to get timesheets now from our control panels, where you can see the timesheets. Future is very easy. In the future we will timesheet to your unit, and the WTM will be clever enough to say which hours will be invoiced to Software Factory, which hours will be invoiced to executive team, but on one we will timesheet to one place, and you will see the hours in your production unit. And that's it. That's it. We apologize for the sound inconvenience. We will get better next time. There are building sites everywhere around. We are in beautiful cage, and everywhere around in Kolbenka there is building site. There are some constructions here, so we apologize for that. And that's it for today. Next time, another topic about our new structure, about our work.
So thank you for your attention.
Bye.
Bye.